Alright, so I'm going to live stream this because it's easier than trying to just make a whole video. So I may stop and answer questions along the way if they're pertinent, but I'm going to try and keep this more to not 2.5 hours like the Q&A was. But I'm going to be talking about where to find the job application for the Antarctic Fire Department, because a few people have been interested in comments and, oh, I don't know where to apply, and oh, this looks fun. Wish I knew how to apply. So I'm going to go over that. And I'm going to talk about kind of my experience in the hiring process. Now, just a heads up, I don't work in HR. I don't have any hiring power. I'm just a guy who went. But, you know, your personal experience may vary. It's some idea of what you're going to be getting yourself into should you decide to apply. So, with that being said, to find the job, you're going to search Amentum Careers or Amentum Jobs or however you want to find it. It's going to be this goofy looking logo with like a green dome going on. Search firefighter, it'll pop up. There's other jobs all over. There's like Poland and New Mexico and things like that, but we're not talking about those today. We're talking about Antarctica. So maybe down the road, that'll be a hiring process for another time. Now, when you click on firefighter, you pull up the job application. It's one application for both South Pole Station and McMurdo. It's just simplify the process. When you do a phone interview, they'll ask, hey, do you want to go to McMurdo or do you want to go to the pole? And some people say I'll split the difference. Like some even went to pole for a couple weeks, came back to McMurdo. There's no separate listing for South Pole or McMurdo. They're one and the same listing. That being said, stuff to be aware of, kind of minimum requirements. Obviously, read it. A lot of it's, stuff you'd see in any fire department related job application kind of thing, but required experience, high school, yep. Fire 2, with that kind of comes Fire 1. Those are kind of hand in hand these days, Fire 1, Fire 2. But Fire 2, certified airport firefighter. This one they get. A lot of people don't have this. I'm weird. I already had it. I took it for funsies one time, but they get. Not everyone can get their hands on airport firefighter, so they'll send you this one. So if you apply and they like you and you meet everything else and they want to take you on board, they'll send you to Florida for a week and get your airport firefighter. So this isn't a make or break for you. Hazmat ops as a minimum again. If you have more, cool. Better is the odds, but it's what it is. CPR and ICS, the usual firefighter stuff. When it comes to experience, it's 2 years full time, or a combination of everything else. But the way they count hours or years for this, time for this, is volunteer paid on call only counts for basically half credit. So if you're just a volunteer, you need to do 4 years volunteer experience because it half credit. So I had some volunteer, a year of full time. However you get there, however you add up to that amount, it adds up. Things that are nice to have, degrees are always nice. EMTB, it's not a deal breaker. One of the guys I worked with is first responder, so it may not put you high in the stack to go. They may obviously take people with more, but this isn't going to kill you. Driver operator, I had entry level. Surprisingly few people that were down there had it. They'll kind of teach you to drive stuff that you need to know how to drive. It's always nice, but again, it's not going to hurt you if you don't have it. It's not going to be the thing that takes you out of the race. And driver operator, airport firefighter. Again, I don't think anyone that was there while I was there had this, or very few did. So this one, it's nice, but it's not going to be what kills you. General requirements. Yeah, go to Antarctica. Willing to adapt, cleaning up, being cold. One other thing, being okay with roommates. Some people were a little bit taken aback by that. It doesn't, specifically have it written down in here, but I had 3 other roommates because it was my first season. You go your first season, you're going to have roommates. It is what it is. Be comfortable having roommates. Boots, I'll talk about that at the end. I'll go into some, stuff to bring. So let's say you apply and you get selected to move on. You'll do a couple phone interviews, standard stuff like that. I'm going to bring up a WordPad to keep track of all this. But you get a position. There's 2 things that you'll be offered if you get chosen. Primary position and an alternate. Primary basically means we really like you. You're our first pick. If you can pass the background, if you pass the medical, you're going to Antarctica. Welcome aboard. Alternate is what I was, which is basically their hiring pool. Hey, we like you. There's people in line ahead of you who are supposed to be going. You're not going for sure, but we're going to still take you on board, have you do the medical, have you do the background check, get moving on that. And if someone who's a primary drops out, doesn't want it anymore, or decides, or, whatever, they can't pass the background, they can't pass the medical, whatever the reason is, people who are primaries start dropping out. Then they'll reach into that alternate pool and say, hey, are you still interested? Someone dropped out. You want to go to Antarctica? That's what happened to me. And it happens suddenly. It was like a Saturday night. My phone rang. Hey, someone dropped out. You want to go to Antarctica? And that's pretty much what happened. So, regardless of primary or alternate, you're going to start with the medical stuff. And all that is it's kind of a lot. You get a 12 lead done. You get just like a general physical, range of motion, like any pre-employment physical, that kind of stuff. You get, trying to remember, a spirometry. Not even going to spell that. It's like the breath function, lung capacity test, making sure your lungs are good, that kind of thing. You do a detailed, like, medical history. They want to know everything. Like, I had to write down, I have glasses, and I've had them since I was 1 year old. And I had to tell them why. Like, my eyes don't work. What do you want? But it is what it is. It's pretty common where they find something during your medical stuff. And by the way, you have to pay for the medical stuff yourself, but they'll reimburse you. So they'll work with you on that. But some stuff comes up that'll be a waiver. Like, most people end up needing a waiver for something. I needed one. Couple people I worked with needed one. It is what it is. So that's an extra, like, mine. My BMI was like a half a point higher than they liked. So I basically had to go to my doctor, and they wrote a letter saying, he's fine. He's working on it. We're not concerned. He can still do the job. Just kind of keeping the powers that be their mind at ease, kind of thing. So you do all the medical stuff. Hopefully they say yes. We're going to assume, yep, you're medically cleared to go. At the same time as all the medical stuff, before we get that far, you're going to go to the dentist, get an exam, any cavities filled. And while you're there, they're also going to get x-rays just to make sure everything underneath the surface is doing good too. And again, they'll reimburse for all the medical stuff. So dentist was actually probably easier than all this nonsense for me. See? As I go, I remember more. And labs. Unless you live in Colorado and you can go to the actual, medical office that they use for the blood draw, you're going to contact them. They'll send you the kit with all the vials that they need filled. Go to your hospital, have them draw the labs, fill the vials, and then ship the vials back to the lab, and then they do sciencey things with it. So, lab kit, you're probably gonna have to request. Is what it is. It was pretty easy for them. They get it. They shipped it out. Really no hassle there. After all the medical stuff, you do a background check, and it's like probably the most intense background check I've ever been through. They want to know obviously everything you've ever worked for. They will reach out. They send out little forms for your previous employers to fill out. Be upfront with them. A lot of the questions are: were you ever fired? Were you asked to leave or resign? Did you ever violate, confidentiality? All that kind of stuff. Because part of going to Antarctica, you do actually end up with some level of clearance. I don't remember what it is, but it is what it is. After all goes well in the background check and all the medical stuff, you have to go get photographed and print and get like your clearance information entered. I basically had to go get ID stuff taken for the clearance. I never saw a card. I'm sure someone somewhere has my info on file, but it's part of the process. So that was basically getting like a clearance ID card, which was, whatever. But assuming all that goes well, you're a primary, or you're suddenly an alternate that's been asked, hey, do you want to go? And you say yes. You're going to go get your ARF down in Florida in July. If you don't have the class, it's a week long. You go through the whole thing, the tests, the written, all that stuff. If you already have ARF, congratulations. You go down for 1 day, basically do the final live burn evolutions, the engine fire, landing gear fire, all that stuff, the practical. There you go. Congratulations, you still know what you're doing, and you get a little piece of paper that says you know what you're doing. And there, mission accomplished. And they pay for the flight down and the hotel for the 3 days or week or whatever it is. They take care of that. After that, you've done the class, you've done the medical, that's good. Background check's done. Now it's the waiting game, more or less. Eventually, they'll say, hey, can you leave your home on the whatever? Kind of be free. They'll work with you a little bit, but they also need firefighters down there. So be more willing to go than not willing to go, if you get what I'm saying. But they'll reach out, hey, can you leave? Can you fly out in a week? But before then, you got to prepare to go. There's online, Amentum, employee classes you got to take, and just a bunch of, the general, workplace safety things, and those are self-taught kind of rules of the road kind of thing for down in Antarctica. So you'll work on those little online training things. But then you got to get ready to go. And I'm going to go over some of it. If you have questions, like you decide, hey, I want to apply, and you have questions about stuff I don't cover, or how should I bring this or not bring this, ask away down below. If you really want to go, sweet, like, it's a fun experience. The first time, I'll be real, you're probably not going to get paid a lot, but it's still a fun experience, so it's different. There is a weight limit on your bags. I think for firefighters, it's like you get a weight increase allowance. It's like 110 pounds or something. Normally it's 85 in general, but you get more. I don't remember what it is for the weight allowance off the top of my head, but just remember, and they'll tell you this when you're getting ready to go, there's some weight limit for your bags. Having gone, you don't need a lot of off-duty clothes. You're only allowed to do one load of laundry a week, so really, and the water department gets kind of annoyed if people are taking daily showers down there every other day, every 3 days. They're not going to, how do they phrase it down there? It's okay to live in your Shrek era, I think is what they called it. Being a little funky, having to layer on the deodorant a little extra, they'd rather that than have a bunch of water to cycle through the water treatment plant. So, couple like 2 pairs of pants, couple shirts, 3 or 4 shirts if you spill something on yourself. A sweatshirt that you really like. It's really all you need for off-duty run around clothes. Plenty of socks, I will say. Extra socks are always nice. Extra underwear. You get how it is, but you don't need as much as you may think that you're gonna need. Halfway decent shirt like Christmas, Thanksgiving. Nice shirts are always appreciated. You don't need a full suit, but something buttoned down, something halfway nice. More than just sweatshirt and t-shirt. For work stuff, they provide the job shirt, the official shirts, beanie, the on-duty work clothes, all that stuff they provide. All you need to worry about are like safety toe, like work boots with the safety toe NFPA compliant. You all know how it is. Work boots, station boots, however you want to phrase it. Duty pants. They tell you when you apply, when you're going through the hiring process, you need the NFPA, the NOMEX, the 1972, whatever number it is, fire resistant pants, and you need 3 pairs of them. And they're going to check and all this stuff. I'm going to be speaking as me who went and what I experienced. I'm not saying don't listen to the rules. I'm not saying don't bring what you're supposed to. But no one checked. I really only ever wore 1 pair of pants. Like the rest stayed in the bag. And a lot of people wore like regular old EMS pants that they wore in their home department. I'm telling you, be better. Bring what you're supposed to. But also, maybe a pair of EMS pants that you like, maybe not hurt. I'm not telling you break the rules, but I'm also telling you, like everything else, what they say and what the reality is can sometimes be a little different. Firefighting stuff. I brought my own helmet down, which created a rift. Well, not a rift. Half the people were cool with it and said, yeah, wear it, it's compliant. I wish I would have brought mine. And then half said, oh, no, you can't bring your own helmet. You can't wear that. That's not cool. So, if you want to bring your own helmet, it's probably going to end up being more wasted space. I think I wore mine once while I was down there, and then I took some pictures in it and ended up shipping it home. It's just what it is. Like, some people are cool with it, some weren't. It's easier. Forget the helmet. Wear what they give you. Boots, however, they issue rubber firefighting boots down there. I brought my own leather ones because they fit me and they're mine. No one raised an issue. It's footwear, safety wear. It's boots that, if you like your leather ones, they fit you. If you know you don't like the leather ones, I know I don't like them. I didn't have issues with my own boots, so if you've got your own boots, you can probably safely say you can bring those and be okay. Hoods, they do issue hoods if you need them, but that's another thing. A lot of people brought their own hood. Carcinogens and wearing hoods that 8 other people have worn, and sometimes bring your own hood if you want your own hood and bring your own boots. But everything else, you kind of don't need. Helmet light, they give you flashlights. In the summer, it's daylight all the time. You're probably never going to need a flashlight, but if you want your own helmet light, pack little stuff. Don't worry about big stuff, is what I'm saying. Radio belts. You're going to have, when you're on duty, you're going to drag a radio everywhere because you got to walk to the galley for meals. You got to have it on you when you're on a hard stand. You're going to have it when you're, just out and about at the airfield because it is what it is. So if you like a radio belt, bring a radio belt. Yeah. That's about it for firefighting stuff, I guess. Shower stuff. Bring a towel. Bring some flip flops or Crocs, something you can wear in the shower, just because you're going to be sharing a shower with a lot of other people, and foot rabies and gross things can sometimes happen. They wash the showers daily, they scrub them down, but at the end of the day, you're still sharing a shower with a lot of strangers. Bring a razor that you like. I like bar soap. I brought my own soap. You can get Amazon stuff down there, so Amazon will ship down there. It takes some time, but and the store does have, it's a limited store. They have a can of shaving cream, like a brand of shaving cream. They have a thing of shampoo that you can buy. So if you have your brand you like, if it's a solid like bar, pack two. If it's your razor, pack your toothbrush. Toothpaste, liquids, TSA, all that garbage. What I did is I just waited until I was in New Zealand, went to the store there, got, the brand that I like. They have a lot of the same stuff down there, name brand stuff. Got what I wanted, got what I like. And then when I went to get on the plane to go to Antarctica, they're more forgiving down there. They understand. Hey, he's going to Antarctica. Yeah, he's got a bunch of toothpaste and shaving cream and stuff. Cool. Welcome aboard. And like I said, if you run out down there, you can Amazon at the end of the day if you're in a pinch. So, shower stuff. And this isn't trying to be like the ultimate list. Like, I'm sure I'll forget stuff, or you may, like I said, in the comments below. If you want to apply, if you end up applying, you get told, hey, you're going, and you're curious about, hey, should I bring this? Is this a good idea? Reach out. I like answering these questions. But LED string lights. Go on Amazon, get like the $15 plug into a little USB thing. When you're in a room with 4 other people, you're not going to want to have the big, overhead ceiling light on all the time. And it's nice. You can kind of customize your own little space. A lot of people put up bed sheets to kind of create your own little area, air quotes, walled off. A little extra light, kind of your own personal touch is always nice, and string lights are an easy way to get there. And plus, it's nice you don't have to turn on the big overhead light all the time and wake up people who might be napping during the day, or people who work on other shifts if you're in a room with one of those people. String light's always nice. Drink mix. Down there's a couple options for soda. No one wants to drink soda all the time. The salt water bottles down there, you're going to be drinking a lot of water, and it's all essentially, it's distilled seawater. So Gatorade Zero powder, tea mix powder, like all the drink powders that you like, pack some of those, and you can always get more on Amazon. But just be prepared, unless you like drinking plain distilled water, plan on drink mix. What else is good stuff for going down? Oh, now, if you're following this video, you're probably applying for the first time. You're probably going for the first time. You have to take all the cold weather issue that they issue you the first time going down. So the big red coat, the pants, the boots, the gloves, the thermal layer, all the stuff that they issue you, you have to take the first time going down. Quiet tones. Okay. You have to take all the stuff they issue. But that being said, if you have certain pairs of gloves you like, if you're like me and you live in Wisconsin, you're familiar with the cold, you like, your pair of gloves, you want a scarf, you want a little neck wrap, stuff that is yours that you like, that works for you, pack it. Because the gloves they issue are leather, cold weather gloves. They don't really issue a scarf, they don't really issue neck wraps or anything like that. You're kind of little stuff like that. Pack your own stuff if you know what you like. And I have recommendations if you just aren't sure, you're from somewhere warm, you want recommendations, again, ask. And then, like, if you wear glasses, you can get polarized, prescription sunglasses. If you're like me and you don't really like sunglasses, find nice UV protected, you know, ski goggles that fit over your glasses, or you like goggles. They will issue goggles. They're kind of, the middle of the road. They've been issued before. They may, it is what it is. Get your own ski goggles that are yours, that you like. Little stuff like that is always nice. Um, Again, I'm trying to think. I'm trying not to make this video too long, but it's always like, oh, that'd be nice. Oh, that's nice to have. All that stuff. I want pants, boots, firefighting stuff, showering, lights, decorations, drink powder, cold weather things. Oh, yes. Um, you will be in New Zealand for at least 3 days, and depending on weather, more. And when you're coming back from New Zealand, you're going to have to, depending on if you want to go straight home, or depending on if you want to goof around New Zealand, explore a little bit before flying home. They do have different power outlets. So New Zealand to US power adapter just for when you're in New Zealand. Computer with drive. So the internet down there is kind of regulated, and from what it sounds like, it's going to be even more regulated. It kind of got squirrely while I was down there, and then the Antarctic program saw the internet bill, and they weren't happy. So you're not going to be able, more than likely, not going to be able to go on Steam if you like video games and download games. You're probably not going to be able to, go on Amazon Prime and get movies or Netflix or all that kind of stuff. Some of those worked while I was down there, but it sounds like they're going to really crack down on that in the future coming up next seasons. So, if you're like me and you like your video games, get a decent computer. If you have the money, I'm not saying blow your money for a computer, but get something that'll run games that you want to play. Because you're going to be there 5-6 months, and what you bring with you is basically all you're going to have access to. They do rent out like PlayStations and stuff, but personal, you like playing on computer games, you have your own Steam account. Download stuff now. And remember that there's going to be functionally no online like gaming capability. So you're not going to be able to play multiplayer. You're not going to be able to play online only games, all that stuff. So my recommendation, stuff like Fallout 4, Atomfall that just came out, simulator games, City Skyline, stuff that you can get a lot of replay out of, stuff that has a lot of stuff you can do, a lot of mileage. More options is better than none. Don't pick, short, play once or twice, couple hours, and you're bored of it games. The drive is nice. If you can get movies on your drive, again, there are DVDs you can rent. There's big libraries of DVDs. Some DVDs are missing, some are scratched. It is what it is. If you want to bring certain DVDs in your luggage that you really like to watch, cool, bring them. But, just entertainment stuff, computer stuff, ways, stuff that you like, your movies, your TV, your video games, that kind of stuff. One last thing, and I think that's going to be a pretty decent list. Bluetooth stuff. There's essentially one radio station there, and it plays whatever's playing. People in McMurdo will do their own radio stations, their own radio programs. One guy that was down there really liked his metal music and had like his own power metal hour. Not my thing. Bluetooth speakers are nice. Like, When you're at Willie's Field, it's nice to be able to listen to music. If you're on hard stand, watching the plane unload, you're sitting around waiting. Some trucks, like Tucker Stilla, don't even have a radio in them. So, and having the option of Bluetooth speakers, everyone takes their turn. Everyone, shares the music that they like. It's one of the bonding things of just who's got the speaker. It's this guy's turn to play some whatever, just so we're not listening to the same radio station all the time. Outside of speaker, Bluetooth headphones. It's nice, especially if you get like Bose like I had. If you're in a room with people who snore, having been at Willie's Field, you're guaranteed to have a roommate basically wherever you are. You're probably going to have a roommate, and they may, especially at the fire department, will probably snore. So just something you can throw on, block some of the snoring. Listen to audiobooks on your phone. That kind of stuff's always nice. Bluetooth headphones. If you're gaming, Bluetooth to your computer. That way you're not distracting people who are trying to watch a movie in the lounge while you're gaming in the background, kind of thing. So that kind of stuff. But that being said, I hope this was halfway informative. If you're interested in going, hey, apply. You don't know unless you try. And if you have any questions, if you do end up, applying and getting selected and know, hey, I might be going, sweet, welcome aboard. If you have any questions, hey, should I pack this? Should I not pack this? Would this be a good idea? Reach out. I'm sure there's stuff I forgot or I just didn't think about. But other than that,